So Graham Potter has gone. This is the correct decision. I'm delighted that he's gone. But there is a bigger question at stake here. What on earth is going on at Chelsea? What on earth has happened to my club? What is Todd Boehly and Clearlake doing? They are completely clueless. The way that they are running the club is shambolic, and something needs to be looked at here. Why aren't the press up in arms about the way that Boehly and Clearlake are running the club? Why aren't they getting a massive rollicking in the press about the way that they are conducting their business? It is atrocious. And what they've managed to do in less than a year is completely oversee a dismantling of the entire Chelsea ethos. Everything that makes us Chelsea, everything that we are, is being undermined by this new ownership. Of course, getting rid of Potter was the right thing to do. I am happy about that. But I do think that there is a bigger question here. Since Boehly has come in, Chelsea have been a shadow of our former selves. Remember, we've already sacked 2 managers. We've spent £500 million quid. We are languishing in mid-table. This is Ian Porterfield levels of Chelsea. This is like 1993 Chelsea. It has never been this bad. And it is all because of the Todd Boehly contribution. Of course, sacking Potter is correct. But there is a bigger conversation to be had here. And the lack of overall direction is a real worry. Think about what we've done under Boehly and Clearlake. We've sacked Tuchel. We've then spent well over £20 million on bringing Potter in. We've then given him a load of players that he didn't want to undermine him. And then we've sacked him. Like, what are we doing? This is shambolic. Who are we? Where are we going? This is such a worry. And I would honestly say that so far, the Boehly era has been 0 out of 10. A solid 0 out of 10. They have failed on every imaginable level. Like, the thing that we have to remember is Chelsea were 3rd last year. Chelsea were 3rd and we got to 2 cup finals. It wasn't a good season. It really wasn't a good season. And I understood why Tuchel needed to be sacked. But the club currently are unrecognisable to anything that I've seen before. Anything I've ever seen. When I have felt incredibly detached from my club in previous eras, whether that was Avram Grant or Rafael Benitez, there was still a soul and a semblance of the club. This is just unrecognisable from everything that I have ever known. And they need to start respecting the traditions of the club. How can they just come into a club and think they know everything? Sack everyone from the previous era. Get rid of Petr Cech. Get rid of Marina Granovskaya, who oversaw everything. And put himself as Chelsea's director of football. A man who has never worked in European sport before, Todd Boehly, puts himself in one of the most pivotal and important positions at the club. The arrogance is truly, truly unbelievable. And the mismanagement is just shambolic. So I really do not know where we go from here. There has been a terrible transfer strategy. Terrible transfer strategy. And let's face it, they have to get this right. This has to be correct. This new appointment, whoever it ends up being, they have to get right. Look, this isn't me saying that I'm disappointed that Potter has gone. I'm glad. I've been calling for this since about February. Since we got beat by Southampton at home, I've been calling for the end of Graham Potter. And obviously, this is correct now. And for us to get anything out of this season, you know, I'm dreaming that we can get something out of that Real Madrid game. It was never going to happen with Graham Potter in charge. So it did have to happen. And obviously, we got a result against Leeds. We got a result against Dortmund. That gave Graham Potter a little bit of a grace period. But it was wrong. He should have been sacked after Southampton. And prolonging it was idiotic. Another terrible decision. But look at the way that Graham Potter has gone about his business. Look at what he did yesterday. Look at the way that he conducted himself yesterday. The team that he selected yesterday. Having James and Cucurella either side of Koulibaly. Effectively, you've only got one natural defender on the pitch. You know, Reece James is a natural forward-thinking player. Cucurella is a natural forward-thinking player. It's a terrible, terrible team. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, what on earth are you doing? Playing players out of position like your Pep Guardiola. Experimental. It's truly, truly ridiculous. We had terrible tactics against Villa. You know, looping in crosses when we had nobody in there who could nod them in. Why are you spamming crosses when you haven't got anyone over 6 foot or one player in the box over 6 foot? Doesn't make any sense. Not bringing on Mason Mount when you're desperate for a goal. This isn't about Mount. This isn't a conversation about who Mount is and where he should go and whether he's right or wrong. I can't be bothered to do that. But even the Mount detractors must concede that Mason Mount is good for a goal. He can come on and he can change a game. He had more goal contributions than any other Chelsea player last year. We're losing at home to Aston Villa and he's on the bench. We saw it for England. He came on for England and won that penalty. We know what Mason Mount can do. Chelsea are desperate. Graham Potter should have been desperate to get something out of that game, and he leaves Mason Mount sitting on the bench. Starts Mudryk was obviously a terrible decision. Loftus-Cheek was at wing-back. Like, what on earth are you doing? I mean, the subs were all over the place. Not having Aubameyang available doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like Aubameyang. I don't really want Aubameyang anywhere near Chelsea. But the fact that he is there, make use of him. We can't score any goals. So make use of the most natural finisher at the club, please. There were so many mistakes. And Unai Emery made light work of him, didn't he? Unai Emery found it so easy. Look, for Graham Potter, I'm sure he'll go on to other things. But I don't know what. I don't think he's an elite level manager. I think he was so out of his depth. And I'm so glad to see the back of him. He's the worst manager that Chelsea have had in my adult life. He really is. You know, people could make a case for maybe Avram Grant or Andre Villas-Boas or Scolari. But I've never known anything like this with Potter because he was so uninspiring. Like, Scolari didn't work at Chelsea, but it geezer won a European Cup. He's a winner. World Cup, forgive me. A winner. This geezer's just a joke. Graham Potter was just a joke. And basically, under Todd Boehly, Chelsea have become a disaster. We are a disaster. We are completely and utterly shambolic. And this just has to go right. And do you know what? Graham Potter leaving Chelsea could be terrible news for Boehly. Because I think Potter has acted as a bit of a lightning rod for the criticism. Potter has taken a lot of the criticism that I think should have been levelled at the ownership. I think the ownership have got so much wrong. And it's about time people started asking questions about this ownership. The direction that they're taking the club in. What they are suggesting Chelsea should do. Who they see Chelsea being. And the vision that they have for Chelsea. Because they have basically got every single big decision that they have made wrong. But they can't get this one wrong. They have to get it right. In terms of the new manager, I mean, they're talking about Nagelsmann, aren't they? Skateboarder. It's not... I want Ancelotti back. I want Carlo Ancelotti back. The football that we played under Ancelotti. He's a winner. He loved Chelsea. He was wrongfully sacked, disgracefully sacked, in fact, by Abramovich in the tunnel at Goodison Park. And I feel like he may have some unfinished business at Chelsea. My vote here goes entirely for Carlo Ancelotti. But getting rid of Potter, it's the correct thing. But it's only the correct thing if it's followed up with a total rethink of the direction that this club are going in under Boehly. Because Potter took the criticism. And make no mistake now, if this continues, if this ridiculous strategy or lack of strategy continues, if this arrogance continues from the ownership, the fans won't turn on the next manager, particularly if it's Ancelotti. The question marks will be about Todd Boehly. What a nightmare. What a nightmare season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Gutted.